The Mass is our greatest prayer, which is shared every Sunday in the greater Catholic community. Therefore, the SMA Media Center is helping you to share more fully by offering Father Tom Casey's thoughts for this Sunday based on the Mass readings. Here is your host homilist, Father Tom Casey SMA.
Hello everybody once again, and welcome to the Sunday Sermon, which is the 7th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year A. Today we have more or less a continuation of last Sunday's, whereby we are looking at the 10 Commandments. They are the lowest form of response to our God in heaven. And we learn from Pope Francis. He said that when we sin, we show great ingratitude. And when we don't love others, we are highly ungrateful for all the good things that the Lord has provided us with. So our response should be not just to avoid sinning, but to do the great thing, to do something great for God. Now, all our readings today, Leviticus says, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." So our calling today is to do the right thing, the loving thing. The thing that we think we cannot do, we are capable of doing it. I remember a student in my young days. We both were on the same athletic team, and we were about to begin a race. And this man came to me and he said, "Remember, Tom, you have more in you than you are prepared to give." And that was a great lesson, because when you're running and you feel tired and you feel like giving up, you know that you can actually push yourself that bit further. I think that's what's being said today in our readings. Love your enemies. Walk the extra mile. Do good for others. It's amazing what human beings can achieve. Remember, we are made in the image and likeness of God from Genesis. We know that. So forgive those who have hurt you. Don't harbor revenge. Pray for those who have hurt you. You will find that your heart will melt very quickly, in fact, because we are made of that kind of stuff. We are star stuff, as the song says, but we have the living breath of God in us. And this is very much what the Lord is asking us today. We can do the loving thing. We can forgive our enemies. In fact, it is vital that we do so, because to harbor hatred and revenge, we are destroying ourselves as well. We are filling our souls with poison. Also, it's very bad to keep a grudge against somebody, because that person before God is being held back from God's graces and even from eternal salvation. Because they will be asked, why has he or she got a grudge against you? And they cannot get in because of that, if we won't forgive. And we too are being held back because we are harboring a grudge and revenge for someone. So nobody wins. When we hate, we diminish ourselves. We become poorer. The rich person is the one who can forgive and not let the harm and hurt done to them last for too long, and desire for it not to last long. There has to be that desire and a willingness to reconcile with everybody. My advice to everybody looking and listening to this video is, do your best, hurry up and make peace with everyone. Don't have anything negative in your heart for anybody else in this world. In the first reading today, it says, "Be ye holy, as I, the Lord, am holy." This is holiness. And even though a difficulty with somebody and you're hurt, that can be a great opportunity for graces from God to make you into a better person. A man by the name of Gerard C. Musa wrote a beautiful little article about an American Indian chief speaking with the youngsters in his tribe. And he's explaining to them about the inner struggle of the human being. And he says it's like two dogs fighting. One dog is good and the other dog is bad. Sometimes the bad dog wins, sometimes the good dog wins. And he left it like that until one of the boys said to him, "And which of the dogs eventually wins?" The elder answers, "The dog you feed the most." And it's very interesting. If we feed into hatred, revenge, ruminating on negative thoughts towards anyone, then that is you're feeding the bad dog. And if you keep that up, the bad dog wins. And in fact, no one wins because you become less a human being. You are poisoned with that anger and that revenge. And nobody wants that. Because you can think up of awful situations whereby you would say, now, if that happened to me, how would I forgive? You never know, because the graces of God are there. And for anybody who has been given a cross, a great cross of temptation towards revenge and hatred and even annihilation of other people, they also are given the graces by which to withstand and overcome that evil that is generated within our hearts in those situations. What helps us to reach that state in life? The spirit of prayer helps. The works of charity that we do makes us wholesome people and also diminishes our struggles with our inner selves, which have a tendency to good and evil, like the two dogs inside us. When we do good, we diminish the bad. Namely, from the first reading today, no revenge and cherish no grudge against any of your people. Love your neighbour as yourself. So the call today is to that. Learn and practice the good ways of living your life, the healthier ways of living your life. Remember, to me, the hardest lesson to learn today was to know that when I have a grudge against any one of my fellow human beings, that person now has a problem in the eyes of God. I am the one holding them back. We are born to be happy and contented. Don't waste your life with anger, revenge, and hatred, because it's a waste of time. You might say, easier said than done, but as I've just mentioned, God's graces are there. I am not saying it's easy, but have the will at least. Decide for the right thing to do. Decide for the good thing, the loving thing, the forgiving thing to do. The gospel today is asking us, reach out, walk the extra mile, be the good person at all costs. Err on the side of generosity. Be forgiving, be kind, and have a good word for everyone. Next Wednesday we begin Lent. So I'm wishing you these last few days of this time of this year, while we are waiting for Lent to start on Wednesday, we will have Shrove Tuesday, we may have pancakes, and we may have great joy, but then we go into that season of Lent, which is also a joyful time, but there's a different emphasis coming from the church to encourage us to cultivate a spirit of repentance and a spirit of practicing our faith to its fullest, especially following Christ as he walks into the desert to fast and pray. So may God bless you, and may you enjoy this day, and that you may have experienced some new insights from what I have said today.